Hey everyone, Andrikats here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are diving once again into the horrific visions of patch 11.15 and this time we learn how to easily obtain two more mounts, the Void Forge Stallion and the Void Scar Gryphon. Before we jump in though, there is something really important you should know. You'll need to start collecting Faceless Masks, that is if you haven't already. For these mounts we only need two. The only way to start unlocking them is if you first get the Mask of the Long Night. This one is earned by clearing all 5 objectives within a vision. After that, you are free to start collecting more. I personally decided to go with the Pain and Dark Imagination ones. These are unlocked by clearing the Old Town and Mage Quarter wings respectively while wearing any mask. So with that out of the way, let's see how to get these two mounts. First up, we have the Void Forge Stallion, a lovely Void Touch horse. You'll get this mount after completing a simple puzzle inside the Vision of Stormwind. And if you are watching this video while Orgrimmar is up, don't worry, that means Stormwind is coming with the next reset. The two versions of Horrific Visions keep alternating each week. So as you are exploring the Vision of Stormwind, you'll find horseshoes scattered on the ground. With each horseshoe you collect, you get a stacking buff, and once you have 4 stacks, you need to head to the forge in the Dwarven district. To be able to see and interact with these horseshoes, you need at least one mask to be active. It doesn't matter which one, but I do recommend using the Long Night. It halves your sanity bar, making things a lot harder. Instead, I was using the Dark Imagination, which only spawns an extra ad when your sanity drops below half. That one's much easier to manage, and let me show you now the route I use. I'll include all of the coordinates down below, but it's always easier to follow along visually, especially since coordinates can sometimes be a bit off in instance content like this. Alrighty, the first horseshoe is right across from the cathedral entrance, on a grassy patch near the central fountain. Kill any mobs you encounter along the way and now head into the trade district. As you enter, take the path to the right and clear out any mobs along the way. You'll find the second horseshoe near the mailbox, positioned between the bank and the inn. Once that's done, make your way towards the Mage Tower. If your sanity is getting low, then it's probably a good time to top it up. Mage quarters can be a bit annoying to deal with, so yeah, be sure to have some sanity for that. As you enter this wing, take the right turn and head uphill. There is an elite patrolling this area. You can choose to either kill it or simply avoid it, if it's not blocking your path. Hack the wall to the left and you'll spot the third horseshoe on the ground next to a tree. After picking it up, backtrack through the Mage Tower, move through the Trade District once more, and then head into the Old Town. That's where we'll find the fourth and final horseshoe. This is also the point where I use a Sanity Restoration Orb, but you might need to use yours earlier or later depending on your tree progression and traits. Just keep an eye on your sanity bar. If it dips below 200, it's a good idea to use one. Remember, we don't need to complete any objectives here, just collect the horseshoes and then melt them at the anvil. What I'm trying to say is that you don't need to keep saving your orbs, just use them. Once you reach Old Town, take out the Armsmaster mini-boss and just be careful of her AoE and frontal attacks. After that, you can clear the rest of the path. The fourth horseshoe is not that far away, just to the right of the tavern entrance on a small patch of grass. Now that you have collected all 4, it's time for the final step, melting them at the blacksmithing forge in the Dwarven wing. So let's start working our way there. Head to the nearest exit, there is an ambush waiting, just take out these mobs and keep going. Defeat the 3 gnomes, and once you enter the Dwarven district, take the right turn. It's the shorter route to the forge. You can also go left, but that path may require you to deal with a mini-boss. If you come from this side though, the elite is far enough that you can likely skip it. Once at the forge, I use another orb just to be safe. Now you can click it to melt the horseshoes and the rare horse will spawn. Defeat it and the mount is guaranteed to be yours. The Void Forge Stallion is rather easy to get once you learn the path and what to watch out for. Sure, if you are Alliance, another horse might not be that exciting, but hey, this one's infused with a void, and I think that kinda looks awesome. Even if at some point we're probably all going to get a bit void fatigued.
Delicious.
Moving on to the second mount, the Void Scarred Gryphon is yet another voidy one, but this time it's a flying one, it's a Gryphon. To get this mount, you'll need to complete another simple puzzle inside the Vision of Stormwind. Before heading into the vision itself, you'll need to activate 2 masks, and I'll explain why in a bit. It doesn't really matter which ones you pick, but I will advise you to yet again stay away from the long night, as it cuts down your sanity in half and makes things much harder than they need to be. Dark Imagination is probably the easiest one, as it spawns an ad when your sanity drops below 50%. Pain, on the other hand, causes 2 madness effects to be active at the same time instead of just one, and that obviously applies to the entire map. Still, both of them are manageable, especially since we are not aiming to clear any full wings or objectives. Once into the vision, all you need to do is start clearing a path to Inquisitor Darkspeak, one of the mini-bosses in the Trade District. Essentially, just go straight from the Cathedral to the Trade Wing, and once there, take the left path, which is leading to the Inquisitor. You can also see his icon on your minimap in case you are not that familiar with Stormwind. Not everyone knows their way in Stormwind, right? Although I gotta admit it, this horrific vision map in BFA helped me figure out the layout of Stormwind, at least for the most part. Behind the Inquisitor on the way towards the flight path, you'll notice a few Gryphon corpses, a claw-marked ball next to the ramp, and 2 ripped nodes. One node is located on top of the ramp behind the boss, and the second one is on the ground to the right of the trash pack before the Inquisitor. It's really important here to know that you have to have at least 2 masks active to be able to see and interact with the ball and the nodes. I used the Dark Imagination and Pain, and it worked just fine. Of course, you can use others and should be okay as well. Just avoid the long night, that's all. Alrighty, so now let's focus a bit on the puzzle. These nodes are really important because they tell you what kind of food the Gryphon wants. So the first node, the one on the top of the ramp, tells you what type of food the Gryphon prefers, like fungus, fish, meat, etc. The second node, the one next to the trash, tells you whether the Gryphon wants the food raw or cooked. Based on these 2 clues from the nodes, you'll need to figure out which of 8 possible food items to use at the bowl. For example, if a Gryphon wants fungus and prefers it cooked, you'll need to give it a roasted mycobloom. If it wants fish and to be raw, then it will be something like fresh fillet. You can either bring all 8 food items with you in advance, or if you have access to the auction house, which is even better, you can just buy the one you need once you read the notes. If you have any Brutosaur, for example, that's your best friend here. Once you make your choice and you have the correct food item, interact with the ball to place it inside. Then interact again to rattle the ball. If you got the food right, the Void Scar Gryphon will swoop down from the sky, and once you kill it, you get the mount. But be careful, if you put the wrong food in and rattle the ball, you'll spawn a horde of frenzy rats and the ball will despawn. That means you'll have to wait for the next vision attempt to try again. So be sure to double check your choice before rattling the ball. And just a quick side note here. Originally on the PTR, we thought you needed 3 masks for this to work, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. That's why if you see here, I actually have 3 masks when I went and got this mount. But anyways, I tested it with 2 masks as well, and it was just enough to see and interact with the items. Again, I think Dark Imagination and Paint are probably the easiest to go with. And that's everything for today. I'll have all the coordinates and the Wowhead links I used to get these 2 mounts down in the description. Keep in mind that there are still more mounts to collect from the horrific visions, including some from Orgrimmar. And let's not forget about the coveted Fell River death cycle, which requires running both versions of the horrific visions. So keep an eye out for that guide's coming next week right here on this channel. And yeah, that's pretty much all. As always, thank you so much for sticking around until the end, and make sure to drop a like if you have found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe for more WoW coverage and hit the bell to stay up to date. Good luck with whatever you are doing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!